guys, can you see? You can in the distance you see a guy sitting down in front of a window that's all lit up. My dog just bit that guy. He's bleeding too. I can see him bandaging it up. Some of you are like, "Oh my god!" No, he fucking deserved it, 100%. I was about to beat the guy up. I was like watching him. Like, what he did was first he calls Babao over. He's like sitting down in a chair and he like calls Babao over. I'm watching him call the dog over and I'm like, "Oh, that's nice. He's a friendly Asian guy towards dogs," which is, it's not rare, but it's a little rare. And then so Babao comes walking up to the guy and then he hits Babao in the face with like, but it wasn't too hard. It was like he had like a rolled up newspaper or something. So he calls her over, "Come on, come on, come on," and Babao walks up and then he smacks her across the face with the newspaper. And I wasn't like, I didn't see it very clearly, but it was clearly enough. I'm 90% certain that's what he did. Because I saw him calling her over, and then I kind of saw him swing, and and then I was like, what? Did he just call over just to swing at her? And then, Babao, he sneaks up later on. I'm watching him, and I got it on video, but I don't know how much you can see, because it's reflecting. What are we taking pictures of? Oh, 拍什么？那个垃圾桶是不是？
拍，不是。
然后因为这个灯，对不对？
对。
什么的。
像这样子的感觉。延伸。
像 HDR？ 你认识 HDR 吗？
不是，那个是。
拍怎么亮？
你控的。这样子。
像我的意思是。Yeah, so I was just talking with those photographers for a bit. I showed them some photos that I'd taken as well, and was explaining to them about HDR, high dynamic resolution photos. If you've never seen them before, you should do a search for it right now. Just type in, go to maybe do an image search for HDR photos, and they're nice. Well, I don't remember where I left off. Well, watch out, JD. That's the stairs. You can go this way. The cops came up, and there was a train station worker and a policeman. Like the guy that my dog's bit, he went and complained, and they got a cop to come here. They probably had the cops already on duty inside the station. So the cop comes out, and he walks up, and they're like pointing at my dog, and they're like, "Yeah, this is the dog." And I'm like, "That's my dog." And then they're like, "Oh, did it just bite someone?" I'm like, "Yeah, it did, and it's a good thing it did, because I was about to punch the guy out." And yeah, like that. And then I told the cop, I said the guy was like, he smacked my dog in the face, and then he walks up behind my dog and grabs it by the collar. And yeah, like that. And the cop's just like, "Oh, okay then." And I said to the cop, I think the guy's a bit slow, like the guy that my dog bit is a bit slow in the head. He's like, "Yeah, I got that impression too." So, but the cop was just cool about it. I bet you anything that in America, the cops wouldn't show up and say, "Oh, the guy was bullying the dog. Oh, okay then." They would just say, "It doesn't matter. Dog bit the guy. We're gonna go kill it now." It's like, I find that a lot of times it's like that here, where the cops are just, they'll actually like listen to your excuse, and if they think it's reasonable, they'll just be like, "Oh, okay." Like if I'm not wearing a helmet and they pull me over and I'm like, "Yeah, well, I just shaved my head, and if I wear the helmet right now, I'll get a rash on my head," and they'll be like, "Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Okay." Like just stuff like that, But it's one of the things I like about here. The cops are just more laid back. Like they'll like they do the job. Like the guy got bit, the cops showed up like 10 minutes later, and they would have done something, but there was a legitimate excuse for what happened, or a semi-excuse, and they're like, "Oh, okay." So.